you fucks. Welcome to John Solo's Never-Ending Beard Brigade Talk to the Beard show. So my guest today, my guest in this hour is Miski Harris, who was actually one of my first guests I ever had on Talk to the Beard. She's like one of the first 3 or 4. And I was just telling you how everything has changed for the show. So yeah. I'm sorry. And like, she was like, I'm trying to explain the intro and the outro and all that shit, but she'll get to watch it after the fact. So first off, I'm sorry that I fucked up your bracelet thing. I didn't mean to. Show them the bracelets. Show them so you see those. So we just did this thing at 10 o'clock this morning where we all go into Patty was telling me it's a book signing is what we did.
Yes.
Is that what it is? All right. And Miski came up with this. Are you the person that?
No, actually, Ari McKay came up with it.
Ari did? Okay.
Yeah, we started it last GRL.
Okay. So they get a gold bracelet and then everybody walks around. There's a list of participating authors, viewers. I don't really know.
Authors and vendors.
Cool. So they all have these little trinkets that they snap on the bracelet. So it's like a scavenger hunt. You got to walk around and find each author, and then you present your bracelet, and they give you a trinket, and you clip it on. And at the end, if you get all the trinkets, you get a prize.
Yes, you get a grand prize. The prize winner for my giveaway was a young lady named Rebecca Carter.
Okay.
I'm really happy for Rebecca because when she filled out her ticket, she made the statement, if my name was the only name in the bag, I still wouldn't win. And lo and behold, her name came out of the bag. And she was so excited.
Huh.
There was a couple of $100 worth of stuff in there.
Holy shit.
There were the bag that held everything was a Vera Bradley tote worth $100 and some dollars.
That seems like a name that people would know, right?
Yes. And then inside was a Vera Bradley laptop bag. Okay. And there was signed books by all the authors. She got $50 in Amazon gift cards and there was a Starbucks gift card in there. Every author donated their own thing to the bag. So by the time I got here to St. Louis, I stopped looking. I was just like, put it in the bag. So when she opened it up, she was like, well, this is worth all the contests I never won.
Well, I did. So apparently you're supposed to be present for this. So I had these little dice bracelet thingies that Jody made. Thank you, my lovely wife, Jody. And I had a little bag. So I looked around. I didn't have a table or anything. So I floated for a bit. And then I decided I was going to step out of the room into the atrium area. And there was a little table out there. So I could sit up at a little table out there. And that was my plan. And I hung around I said your words, but I didn't hang around long enough. And I'm so sorry because some people were not able to find me because I'm elusive. So they didn't get the little trinket. And that apparently you had to credit. I'm sorry I messed it up.
It was okay.
I'm not very good at stuff.
It's all right. We have an Andrew Gray rule from last
not sure I'm going to.
GRL,
okay, you go ahead.
So now we have a John Bricker rule. So the Andrew Gray rule is do not give out the charms without a bracelet. Because last GRL, Andrew was just giving everybody charms. He ran out of charms, and then people who had the bracelets didn't get them. So now the John Bricker rule is, or the John Solo rule is,
all right. They all know my name.
You must remain in the signing until it's over.
Right. It's totally like me to have somebody create a new policy just because I fucked shit up. So I'm sorry that I messed it up, and I'm sorry that. But I had a good time. I met a lot of people.
We had a ball,
dude. When I walked in there, you had a line. Like there's 15, 20 author tables and one line, and they're all to Miski's table.
And I thought they were for the bracelet.
Yeah.
which was the funny thing because there was this massive, all I could see was this massive people in front of me. And I was sitting there saying, yeah, leave it to me to have the bracelet at my table. And then people were like literally shaking me. I want to take your picture. Will you sign my book? And I sold almost all my books.
You rocked it.
People were, I feel like that kid that says, they like me. They really, really like me.
Well, dude, you've come a long way. The last time I saw you at a GRL was 2019 when I saw everybody, and you were a brand new budding author. I don't even think you'd finished your first book yet, or maybe
Yeah,
you just
it was
had.
out. I had published my first book.
And now you've got a line of people in front of you, and you're signing autographs and shit. And you got, I mean, do they have like drugs backstage for you and stuff too, or how's that?
Well, I had Taffy.
Okay.
She was my keeper for the event. And
I
so
thought you were
she
talking
made
like
sure
food
I got,
taffy. I was like, because taffy's good.
No. She made sure that I had a leave. And then there are people who know me. So they're like, okay, Miski, it's time to go eat. You need to go sit down, eat, have a drink.
It seems like we're all going through this. You're the third person I've had on Talk to the Beard today, and all of us have said the same thing of, oh my God, it's a lot. There's a lot of moving, there's a lot of shaking, there's a lot of talking to people and everything else.
There really is. When you come as a reader, I came 2 years as a reader, so I said, well, coming as a writer, I just have to bring extra stuff. But oh no, it's a lot of work.
It's also a ton of fun too. I'm having a ball as much as this is kind of a whirlwind that we don't get a lot of time to really just chill and hang. But I don't know. I feel like I kind of do, especially this was my answer for that. I'm like, all right, I'm going to post up and I was going to do this. I talked to the lovely people Reese with GRL, and I talked to them about potentially doing this down in one of the rooms. That's what I wanted to do.
Right.
But unfortunately, they only had like an hour and a half slot, and I was like, well, it takes like at least a half hour just to set up, and then I want to have multiple people, so I don't think that's going to work. So I told them I was going to do this in my room, which then creates the weird thing of, hey, you want to come to my room?
Yeah.
But it's all good. But this was my answer to it, of at least I can sit down and have one-on-one conversations with a few people, and as in his John Solo style, why not do it on the air, and then why not broadcast it to multiple formats, and then we'll bring cameras and mics, and we'll make this whole big production. That's how I roll.
But you do it so well, John.
Lying to me will get you nowhere, but I appreciate it. So you said you were in San Antonio before this?
Yes, I did. Authors in the Alamo City. So
Okay.
I was there from Friday until Monday, and then I came straight here. Um, that was a very different experience from GRL. It was smaller.
Okay.
And unlike people who come to GRL, a lot of people did not show up,
Okay.
which I found amazing. If I give you my money, I'm coming. you know. But it was very well organized, and it was a good warm up to this because I figured out the things that I had not planned on, like answering the question, tell me about your book, and how to do that without giving away the plot and giving away spoilers. You're so excited that somebody is actually wanting to talk to you and talk to you about something you wrote that you want to tell them the whole story. And I was like, nah, if I do that, they won't buy the book. They don't need to. I just gave it to them.
So it's an elevator pitch. I got to do like a rock star moment here. All right, hang on. Hey, Trace, can I have my coffee? Trace, my lovely TNA, you're going to see her arm come through the shot
There
to
it is.
deliver the coffee. Look at that. Well, if you want to call it coffee, it's fucking Starbucks. But thank you, Trace. It's the elevator pitch and the practice of that. There's actual. I keep on going back to YouTube. There's like YouTube content on teaching you how to do an elevator pitch and how to do it effectively, because apparently this is how you would pitch movies back in the day.
Right.
That's why they call it an elevator pitch. Some guy would get on the elevator and he has 30 to 45 seconds with the producer before he gets off at his floor, and he has to pitch his movie script and see if he gets it. So what was your approach to it? Did you just read the blurb? Is that what you did?
I did not. I actually sat in the bedroom and practiced.
Yeah.
I talked about my main concept for the Don't Ask, Don't Tell series, which is that all of the main characters around which each book is written are ex-military, and they were on active duty during two of the hardest times for to be gay or lesbian at that time. During If We Catch You, we're going to make you wish your mother believed in abortion. And then came President Clinton's attempt at a solution called Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Well, unfortunately, it didn't work. Where homosexuality is forbidden, there was actually a law in the Uniform Code of Military Justice that said homosexuality is anathema to good order and discipline.
You used a word I don't know there. Anathema.
It means that it works against it. And it actually causes disorder and issues. And so, as you know, in my first book, EJ was thrown under the bus by his lover, who was his commander. In my second book, Jordan was a young man who was a paratrooper, and he did search and rescue. He was irreparably injured, discharged, and had PTSD.
Okay.
The common thread through this particular series is restoration and rebuilding. So, and second chance love, because in each story, somebody has lost someone in one way or another. I am a hopeless romantic, so that shows in my books, and I love drama.
It seems to be, well, you're a woman. I'm just joking. Please don't punch me for the, wow. I've never seen that look come out of Miski Harris in my life. Did you see that? That's kind of going to give me the chills there for a second.
My children say that.
Turns out she'll cut you.
Yes, she will.
No, it's very common. And from what I've seen in this community, it's very common for a lot of us to be hopeless romantics. It's the drama factor. You did incredibly well in your books. I enjoyed it. But we were talking earlier. There's a part of your particular writing style that I enjoy, and I'm not saying that this is bad or good overall, but we were talking about this earlier. It's the sex part of your books. And the fact is, in your first book, the sex was virtually entirely off screen.
Yeah.
And in the second book,
it was just enough for you to know there was sex.
Exactly. And we were talking earlier that and I think we talked about this the last time you were on too, that there are some authors are incredibly good at knowing the sex, and we love it. It's fantastic. Other authors kind of force it, and they're just not being themselves with it. And what I enjoyed about yours was this is not something you're into that much. It's not something so you were yourself with it, and you made a bold decision. In this community, where we jokingly refer to it as the gay porn community a lot. And it's a joke, and we know what we're, but the fact is you were yourself, and you took a chance and you took a risk. And judging by the line that I saw this morning up to your table, I think it paid off. I think you did a good job. It's that being yourself part of it. Did you feel the urge when you were writing these to, well, okay, we need to put in an extra sex scene. We need to.
I didn't, but what's funny is my husband was alive for Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And as mild as it was to us, he wanted to read the book. So I said, okay, there's a scene in there that might make you a little uncomfortable. I put a paperclip on it. I said, you can skip that and you won't really miss the point of the story. You'll miss a little. But you won't. Well, you have to understand that my husband used to grade my papers when I was getting my second degree.
Well, that's awkward.
And so he just had to read it. And he comes in the back and he says, I always knew you were a great writer, Sharon. He says, but I have a question. And the look on his face was priceless. I said, I told you not to read that part. He said, I know. He said, I just have one question. Yeah. He said, how do you know? And I just said, research.
Gay porn.
I didn't tell him that part. But it really was, I actually have gay men in the community who are willing to talk to me. As you know, I was raised by a lesbian woman, and so there's really no question I won't ask. Blake Allwood calls me a gay man in drag. Because I will ask anything. I've been teasing Andrew McQuinn all day about being a slut, So, if you befriend me, this is who I am, and that's how I write. If I don't want to read it, I won't write it. And whatever that costs me, it costs me. But today showed me that it's true. I have a very particular audience, but apparently they're bigger than I thought. There were men in that group, and I still can't get over that. There were men asking for my autograph and buying my book in paperback.
Well, you made a bold decision, and I'm proud of you for it. You were yourself,
you.
and it worked. I think it seems almost like the theme of what I'm doing with this today is our community and how wonderful the community is. And there's a lot of very just cool, special people in it. It's cool to be able to see everybody be themselves down there. It's open up. But yeah, it's been fun watching you do this journey. I wish you the best in going forward with it. I hope it goes well. I lost my train of thought entirely, but I think it's because this actually has caffeine in it. Well, no, I was out of coffee for a little while. Normally Starbucks doesn't do it, but I think I just got a jolt, and that's pretty good. Good shit. Did you slip something in there, or what did you?
She probably did.
Slipping me a Mickey.
Yeah. She probably told him put an extra shot.
You talked about research and talking to, and let's be honest, what we're talking about here. We're talking about gay men having sex, and we're talking about how do you actually know what goes on in the bedroom and what doesn't go on in the bedroom. I actually slept with a gay man for a week. It's Andrew Gray, and he's downstairs, and we're going to do a live reading at 4:00. Now, I didn't fuck him, and he didn't fuck me, but it's a running joke in my group.
That's okay. I slept with Sam York.
See, I stayed in a hotel room with Andrew for a week, which I'm sure you did but yeah, I keep on bringing it up. I know I can't help it. Also, and I was trying to do this cool segue there, and it just totally didn't work out. Then I'm doing a live reading down in the lobby at 4 p.m. today. So we're going to be down there in a bit, and Andrew's doing his kids' voices or whatever, and we're going to be reading a book. But I was able to, once I realized what I was reading, because I didn't know at first, once I realized that, oh, I'm reading gay romance. Okay. And once I realized how uncomfortable I was, my first 50 sex scenes were awkward as fuck. Because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand any of it. And I'm not gay. I'm not going to go out and do the research that's why they call it acting. But what I was able to do was talk to a lot of other people in the community. Also, I talked to a lot of narrators, and also I listened to some narrators, and I kind of figured out what they were doing and what they weren't doing. And I figured out, I started working live in front of a crowd in Discord. And a couple of the people that are behind the camera that you all can't see back there, the Brigadiers are wonderful people. I was able to see the reactions of the crowd based on what I was doing, reading these scenes, the emotions that are involved in them, the actual acts that are involved in them, what they thought was good performance in a scene and what they thought wasn't. And I was able to then learn how to do it believably would be the word. You made the choice in yours where your way of doing it believably, and the part that you enjoy is a lot of it is off screen, but you know what happened. You know how that worked. You know how it went down. I love your particular style of it. I think it's, again, a bold choice. What are you, I realize you might not even know. What are you doing for the rest of the day?
How does sleep sound?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm finishing up my next book, Cruise. Cruise was supposed to come out last year, and 2020 happened. But a really good thing came out of that because I had time to take a fresh look at my book. It was supposed to be, just a sweet romance about a man who finds a guy on a cruise. And that's not even my style. I don't know why I thought I was going to make that work. Because if I can't have drama and blow shit up,
she cut a bitch. That's
it's just not gonna work. So I'm finishing Cruise. I've added the dramatic impact and the suspense, and I had to get on my knees and beg my editor to forgive me because it was due to her like yesterday. So that's pretty much what
you're just going to rewrite it.
No,
I've seen you do
I'm
this
actually
before,
I'm at the end.
Good. So
Yeah.
I've seen you do it before where you're like, fuck this, I'm going to redo this. And
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen you go through the chopping block a couple times.
But that's me. If I look at my book and say I wouldn't finish this, then the whole thing goes in the fire and I do it again. But I always want to, because believe it or not, readers ask you, these are your books. Which one did you enjoy writing the most?
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun telling them that the book that I've had the most fun with used to be Collateral Damage. I think Collateral Damage has a lot more life in it than Don't Ask, Don't Tell did. But Cruise is now the story.
Uh-huh.
I really have enjoyed writing Cruise. And the mother is based on me, and she has a gun. So instead of cutting a bitch, she'll shoot a motherfucker.
God, I'm going to save that as a sound sample. That's wonderful.
You might not be able to put that part on YouTube, but I that's really my process. If I read it and say, I'd have to stop this book here, the whole thing, that whole part goes into the hopper. So Cruise is next.
There you go. I've been doing this thing for years, and we've been talking about this all day, playing dumb. So I play dumb intentionally a lot, and it works for me. It works well because most people don't want to be in a room with a person that's you don't want to feel like you're not as smart as. So it's a strategy that's worked well for me. Something I do when listeners come up to me and ask me about a particular book is I almost always will say, "Did I do that one? I don't remember that one." Play dumb completely. Most of the time, I do remember the book. It's amazing. I do actually remember working on it here and there and everywhere. But it's really hard to pick. I have one or two favorite projects, right? But it's kind of disses every other client that I've ever worked on if I say, well, that one was my favorite. And so it's an easy route around that question. I find it awkward. I find it and I didn't know how to deal with that question at first. It's amazing to me that you're actually able to pick your baby and then go with it. But you're not in the profession I am, where I have clients that have actually written these pieces where I don't want to diss another one.
Well, in takeovers, people will ask me, "Who's your favorite author? What book are you reading?" And like you, I have some pat answers. Like, I really have too many favorite authors to list.
Yeah.
Because I honestly do. There are people who've been significant in my life, but that doesn't mean they're my favorite author to read. I have a list. And I never tell people what book I'm reading now because I have a lot of friends who are authors. And the last thing I want to hear is, you you're reading that and you didn't read my book yet, So,
Well, exactly. I don't want to say I loved this one and I didn't love,
or
it's
I
just,
skipped over yours. Yes, I know I bought it, but I didn't read it yet. So, um,
so what are you reading now? I'm just, I can't help it.
I'm about to read you, John.
Yeah, see, she cut a bitch and shoot him. By the way, you said motherfucker just exactly like Samuel L. Jackson, and I found that impressive. I can't do that very well. So we're coming up on time. We're hitting a half hour. And by the way, thank you. We actually went a little earlier on this one because I've interviewed you before, if that's what we want to call this. And we talked so much off the air that when we got on the air, I didn't have as much to talk about. So this time, as soon as you sat down and you were eating, I was like, as soon as he eats her last bite, I'm hitting the timer. We're going to go today. We're going to talk. But thank you for doing this. Are you doing the evening thing at 6:00 with everybody, the reception?
I am going to the reception. Cool. No guarantees on how long I'll stay.
Yeah.
And then I have a lounge tomorrow.
Cool.
So I'll be back there with my remaining 5 books, and my swag. If you're at GRL and you're watching this, come get that shit. I don't want to take it home.
Well, and
it's free.
Thanks again to the organizers of GRL. I know this isn't officially a part of GRL, but at the same time, like none of us would have come together, and we wouldn't be able to enjoy this community and everybody else without Reese and all the others that are putting this together. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you've never been to one of these, for the love of God, please
save your money and come.
Yeah, it is totally worth it. You'd be amongst your people, and even if you don't know anybody, it doesn't matter. Just show up. Trust me, you're going to make a lot of good friends in about 20 minutes flat, and you're going to have a great time. But so I told you, and I promised you that we also have this special little thing, this outro here. So everybody, I'm doing a live reading downstairs, so I'm not going to be back on with another Talk to the Beard until around 5 p.m., which would be 6 p.m. JST. And I think if it works out, I'm going to have Kurt Graves on at that time. So I will see you all everywhere later, and anybody that's at GRL, hopefully I'll see you downstairs at 4 p.m., which would be 5 p.m. JST because we're in a different time zone, but I don't even know where I am. So anyways, have fun. I will see you all later. Wave to the camera, Miski.